A convicted sex offender, once sentenced to 17 years in prison, is back in the spotlight in Fayette County. Timothy Vest Benton was transferred from out-of-state prison and into a local community corrections program just months ago. Now, after a new arrest and a quick release on bond, one victim's family says the system has failed them again. The I-Team's Valerie Bell continues to dig deeper and shares new developments. Now let's get you involved in the conversation. We want to know, are sentences for convicted sex offenders too light? Scan the QR code on your screen to answer.
I promised my son I would never let him get to him again. I promised him that he would be 30 before he had to deal with this ever again.
In May 2017, ABC 3340 first reported on the disturbing allegations out of Fayette County. Former Hubbardsville standout Timothy Vest Benton, 19 years old at the time, was charged with more than 40 felonies for sex crimes against minors, court records show.
He's very well known, and it's an absolute shocker to everybody.
In 2019, he pleaded guilty to just 2 counts of sodomy. A judge sentenced him to 17 years in prison. But records show Benton served only 5 years, 6 months, and 27 days behind bars in the Alabama Department of Corrections until this June, when Circuit Judge Samuel Junkin amended his sentence and moved him to the Fayette Community Corrections Program.
We was devastated. I mean, it brought up everything from the past. I mean, we fought this so hard so long ago.
When Benton was transferred into community corrections, your family was never notified of this?
No, we was not notified. We found out through Facebook, supposedly 2 weeks after he got out.
Last week, the community learned Benton was back behind bars, but only briefly. Arrested on a sex offender registration violation, he was booked into the Fayette County Jail, then released a short time later on a $2,500 bond. Court records accuse Benton of knowingly failing to provide required registration information or providing false information, including failing to appear in person and provide a valid ID or driver's license.
We wanted to be happy about him getting locked back up, but in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, well, what's this judge going to do next? And then about 20 minutes later, we found out that he had done been released on bond.
That arrest quickly followed with District Attorney Andy Hamlin filing a motion to modify Benton's sentence, pushing for him to serve the rest of his 17 years back in the state prison system. A court hearing set for September 15th has been removed from the court's docket for that day. Court records filed Monday show District Attorney Hamlin's office is no longer able to prosecute this case due to a conflict of interest and has asked the AG's office to take over. District Judge Merrill Nolan also recused himself from hearing the case, also citing a conflict of interest.
Make him serve every bit of the 17 years.
For now, Benton remains on house arrest. Under the order, he can leave his parents' home for his father's shop, medical or mental health appointments, and with approval, travel to his family's home in Gulf Shores. But for many in Fayette County, that explanation doesn't go far enough.
It's not right. It's not right. It's not right at all.
If more people get away with this, kids are less likely to tell their story thinking that it won't get taken seriously.
Judge Junkin has not returned our repeated calls. The Alabama Bureau of Pardons and Paroles confirmed it held no hearing because Benton isn't eligible for parole under community custody. The agency says it has no authority over his case. The Department of Corrections told ABC 3340 local programs, not ADOC, are responsible for oversight and victim notification. The Attorney General's office did respond, saying, quote, "We feel strongly that the victim should have been notified, and we encourage all victims to sign up for the Victims Notification System at victims.alabama.gov.
It's shocking to me. I can't imagine how the victims must feel from all of those cases, from all of that, of what this one individual did. It's shocking. And I believe that someone owes those victims answers. They owe the public answers.
In your opinion, what needs to change?
I think that we're moving too far away from the time when victims were a part of the process.
Victims of Crime and Leniency, known as VOCAL, Executive Director Wanda Miller believes every victim should have a say when it comes to changing a sentence.
There's just so many ways that an inmate's status can change, and victims just are not part of that process. They're not part of a rehearing or a resentencing or a restructuring of a sentence. Victims should be heard at that point. They should be a part of that process so that they know what to expect and that they have a voice in what happens.
Miller says Benton's house arrest with permission to travel raises concerns and that his conditions amounts to leniency.
That ankle monitor is not going to trip him up from doing anything. We'll find out about it afterwards, and that worries me and should worry everybody in that community. The conditions of his movement, you know, he can go to the beach and spend time with his family. You know, he can go to his dad's business. He can, you know, there's a lot of freedom there that he's got that, you know, has he stepped over the bounds on that freedom? You know, I think that's something the court really needs to look at.
State leaders are also paying attention. Representative Brian Brinyark tells the I-Team he's reviewing whether changes are needed to mandatory minimum sentencing for sex crimes and how to balance prison overcrowding with public safety.
Do you think there needs to be a change in state law?
There needs to be a lot of changes in the way we're doing things in sentencing, you know, and get closer to a truth in sentencing, where right now our sentencing scheme is all over the place. I mean, and we follow legislation and we try to stay on top of things, and with the thought in mind, how is this going to affect that victim? You know, if this happens, don't forget to let the victim be heard. Don't forget to notify the victim. Don't forget to keep them in this process.
Moving forward, Key's family says they want the say they feel was taken away from them given back.
I just hope good comes of all of it. I really do.
Benton's case was represented by the public defender's office. I reached out to his attorney. He said he had no comments. In the newsroom, Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 I-Team.